What's up, everybody? It's Ronnie with RCBASSIN, and today we're going to talk about the top 3 picks, your top 3 baits to fish in August 2022. You need to stay with me in this video because I'm going to show you the top 3 picks, not from me, but from some of the top professional anglers in the sport of fishing. We're going to go out to the likes of like Edwin Evers, Jacob Wheeler, and DEFOE, and we're going to find out what their top baits are for the month of August so that you can go out and improve your chances of catching your next personal best. Now, I like to refer to August as the dog days of summer. You still have some very high temperatures, but those daylight hours start to get shorter and the days get shorter as well. And for that reason, you want to maximize your time out on the water. And the top pros use baits that target all different levels of the water column, and that's what we're going to talk about. So you want to stay tuned to this video so that you know what those top 3 baits are to give you a head start in the month of August. Now, if you follow the sport of professional fishing, it'll come as no surprise to you that our first pick comes from none other than Jacob Wheeler, a true hammer, a true hot stick in the sport of professional fishing. Now, Jacob Wheeler's #1 pick for the month of August is a soft plastic bait, but it's a plastic worm, and he rigs it on a shaky head setup. Now, shaky heads are unique because you can fish those weedless. And a shaky head is a very versatile bait. You can fish it along those grass lines, you can fish it off those deep ledges in deeper water, or you can fish it in the shallows around sunken structure. Shaky heads are weedless, so it makes them a really good bait to throw in around that sunken structure. And it is a really good finesse bait when those fish are a little bit lethargic, the water temperature's up, there's not as much oxygen in the water, you don't have as much grass line in a lake, but you can really zero in on them with the shaky head, and that real finesse type approach really gets after the bite. I've got a couple of other good options for you for a shaky head rig. One is a KVD Fat Baby Finesse. It's a little bit shorter bait, but it also has a finesse profile to it. Really good for shaky head setup. The next one are the Guggen baits, and it's a blazing worm. This one's in the nightclub color. Really good shaky head worm. And then finally, a shaky head worm, the Guggen baits, blazing worm in the watermelon red. A couple of other great options for you to rig with your shaky head setup for the month of August. Now listen, if you're serious about your bass fishing in August, you've got to stick around for these next 2 picks. So we've talked about shaky head fishing. That's in the lower end of the water column. Now we're going to go all the way to the opposite. We're going to go to the top. Our next pick comes from a legend in the professional sport fishing, Edwin Evers. Edwin Evers likes to throw a topwater bait early in the morning, late in the evening, and he prefers a Berkeley Chapo. And he'll fish those shade lines, throw that Chapo up underneath those overhanging cover to get after those topwater blow-ups. Now, the Berkeley Chapo is a little bit cheaper than your traditional whopper plopper. Whopper ploppers are on the high end of the spectrum, but the Berkeley Chapo, I'm telling you, is a great bait to use for that topwater bite. Now, if the water is a little bit slick, there's no wind, there's no current, I will still try to get a topwater bite in. A couple of other great options for you is something like the KVD Sexy Dog. Can't go wrong with a walking bait. A little bit quieter profile on that slick water. And then something like the MONSTERBASS Patriot 2.0, another great option for you for a walking topwater bait. Those topwater bites can be hot in the month of August. Now, our last bait's going to come from none other than my man, a guy that I love to watch fish, DEFOE. DEFOE loves to throw crankbaits and power fish in the month of August, so much so that he picks the Rapala DT16 is his top pick for the month of August to get after those deep fish. Crank, that's a great hunting bait. It digs off the bottom a lot, and that will find fish when the fish are deep. That Rapala DT16 is a hot looking bait in that kind of bluegill pattern color. Now, some of the other baits that I like to throw crankbaits, now Ott throws a Rapala DT16. I like to throw a Strike King 6XD. The 6XD runs down to about 18 to 20 foot deep, almost like the Rapala DT16, but I like to throw a crankbait that runs just a little bit deeper than the depth of the water that I'm fishing in, so that bill hunts in the bottom of that lake, hits that structure, deflects off, dives up, darts down, and that will trigger you strikes in the month of August on the crankbait. You cannot go wrong, whether it's a Rapala DT series, Strike King series, or any other series of crankbaits. You just have to get after those fish, throw those crankbaits out there, and hook them up. And now that's your top 3 picks from the pros: Jacob Wheeler, DEFOE, Edwin Evers for the month of August 2022. Hey, if you would like to join RCBASSIN and become a member of a group of folks who are passionate about the sport of fishing, want to share their knowledge and information, and help everyone catch their next personal best, go down and hit that subscribe button below. And hey, stick around because I've got some other great tips for you coming up here at the end of this video. YouTube's going to make some recommendations for you. on how to simplify your soft plastic bait color selections and how to capitalize on your crankbait fishing, some tips and tricks. Until we get to talk again, stay safe out on the water, tight lines, baby, and hook 'em up.